Okay, one last video for today, and this one will get you started on drawing. So once you create your layers, just go ahead and close that box. Your layers will reside up here at the top in this little drop down. And again, like I said, pay attention to your measurement. And we want to start with some of our drawing tools. We're going to start with this regular line tool. Okay. And the line tool allows me to just, draw lines. Right now I'm on the interior wall layer, but we're going to change that in just a moment. So you can just draw it out at whatever layer you're currently on is perfectly fine. And looks like navigating here is a little bit trickier than it used to be. Okay, let me try that again. Okay, so the back of my house, I don't know, it's going to be like 40 feet or so. One little thing you can do, you don't have to do this, but one thing that a lot of designers like to do is they like to design in increments of 4 feet. That's because most of the materials that you purchase to build the house with are basically come in increments of 4 feet. So that's a good little rule of thumb to remember there. So I'm going to pull this thing out to, I'm going to actually pull it out to 44 feet. Now, of course, it's hard to, aim your mouse and get it exactly at 44 feet or whatever your distance is that you're trying to accomplish. And that's why we have the dynamic input. The little box you see on the screen with the measurement in it, that is your dynamic input. Okay, that's the thing that is on, you can turn on and off right down here at the bottom. That is your dynamic input. So I'm going to type 44 feet. Make sure you use the proper quotations for or punctuations for your feet and inches. And then I'm going to click the enter button. And the front of my house, this leg of my house is going to come out to, let's say, now I'm just making this up off the top of my head. So I'm going to say 30 feet. And I know that's not really a multiple of 4. But like I said, you don't have to do that. This one is going to be 20 feet. And then I'm going to cut in. I'm going to cut in actually about, can I cut in 20 feet? No, I can't. That's going to be too far. Let's see. I had something else in mind, but I'm not going to be able to do that. Okay, so now I'm just kind of drawing. Make that kind of a front door area. All right, now I'm going to show you how this one right here works, where it says show snapping reference lines. Okay, what I can do is if I hover over a reference point, okay, I'm going to hover over that one again. You see there's no cross or anything on that reference point. If I hover and click, and not click it, I'm sorry, don't click it. If I hover over it, it will turn on a reference. And you can see that now I can line up this line with it. If I don't want that reference, I can hover back over it and turn it off. I'm not clicking any buttons to do that. Okay, so hover, turn it on. Oops, didn't come on. And I can line things up just like so. I think my house might be too small. All right, so there's kind of a shape. And what we can do, now this right here is your user coordinate system indicator. We want to keep our drawing out of the way of that. I don't know if I can just move this and it will move or not. It might. Yeah, it goes. Okay. So that just changed the user coordinate system. And of course you want to always work in the upper right quadrant number 1 of your coordinate system. I'll tell you a little bit more about those coordinates a little bit later on. But anyway, I have this nice little footprint for my house of the exterior walls. Now I have to decide what type of walls I'm going to use. Are they brick walls? Are they stone walls? Any kind of masonry type material? Or are they just some sort of siding, some sort of wood or metal siding or vinyl siding? Okay, so I have to make that decision because that's going to affect the thickness that I'm going to represent my walls. Now with AutoCAD, working in this stage, sometimes you do have to have a very precise and accurate wall thickness. Sometimes you don't. Okay, for this project, we're not going to have a we're not going to have a wall thickness that truly represents the thickness of our walls and all of the materials that will be in the walls. Okay, we're going to go off of a general thickness. So if you're going to use any kind of masonry siding or masonry finish on the outside of your house, like a brick wall, a stone wall, or anything like that, just go ahead and make the thickness of your exterior walls 10 inches. If you're going to use any other type of siding, make the exterior walls 8 inches. Okay. Now, if you're going to, well, that's really it for the exterior walls. The interior walls, we're going to use a common 4 inches on the interior walls. But right now, we're just doing the exterior walls. So depending on which one you're going to choose, either 8 inches or 10 inches, okay, you're going to select all of your wall segments. And to do that all at once, you can just hover up to the top right of your structure, click on the mouse button, and, well, not that one. Oops. Click on the mouse button and release, and then drag. And you get a selection window, and that selects everything. To show you a little bit more about that, you saw earlier where I came up here and I clicked and I held the mouse button down, and then I dragged. That's called a fencing selection. And that selects anything that my fence crosses. Now, another trick here is on the left side. On the left side of your structure, if you're selecting dragging from left to right, it won't select anything unless you completely encompass it, like so. Same with this. Okay, the window will not select anything unless I completely encompass whatever it is that I'm selecting. So top right selects anything it touches. Top left selects only things that it completely encompasses. So select all of your footprint here, your walls, and we're going to do an offset. Okay, so to do an offset, we're going to go up to the Modify panel. We're going to click on this Offset button right there. And we're going to specify an offset distance in our dynamic input window. And I'm going to have masonry walls, so I'm going to type 10 inches. That didn't work the way I wanted it to, so I have to still go back and select all of them and drag them in 10 inches. Okay, so that was failure number 1. So anyway, just go and click on each wall. Now that you have your offset set, and just drag them to the inside that predetermined distance. Okay, now to clean this up a little bit, another thing too that I didn't tell you that I'm going to share with you now is anytime you're inside of a tool, let's say I'm in a line tool, okay, and all I can do in the line tool is draw lines. I need to get out of the line tool to go to a different line tool. I hit the escape button on my keyboard, and now I'm out of the line tool. You can also use your enter button on your keyboard, enter button or escape button. So to clean this up, I'm going to go use the corner tool, and that's going to should be in the Modify panel. Let's see. I could be wrong. There used to be a corner tool. Okay, I remember what it is. Okay, I switch back and forth between different programs so often. It's actually the Filat Tool, which when you first click on the Filat Tool, it will default to a 90-degree corner. All right, so I'm going to click on that. Yeah, I don't want it to curve like it shows in the picture here, but I do want to use that tool to make my 90-degree corners. So if I just click on it, by default, it's going to be 90 degrees. So I just click here, and then I click there, and it made my 90-degree corner. Whoops. Okay, I forgot one other thing too. To redo that, every time you click to do a corner, with this particular tool and with some of the other tools as well, it doesn't stay in that tool. Okay, you have to either click up here again or do the easy thing, which is click on your enter button on your keyboard. So after doing one corner, I'll click the enter button on my keyboard and it'll go back into that most recent tool. And I can make the corner. Here, click on the enter button of the keyboard again. Make that corner. Again. Make that corner. And just keep going until you make all of your corners. Okay, now I have some nice clean exterior walls that are are the exterior and the interior wall. Interior of the exterior wall. Okay, next thing I want to do is select all of my exterior wall elements. And I'm going to select them all, and of course I can't do a crossing window or anything like that because I'll actually select the interior walls as well. So I want to hold the control button down on my keyboard, and I'm going to go around and click. Okay, maybe it's not the control button, maybe it's the shift button. Click on, okay, maybe not that one either. Okay, let's just click on the lines and see what happens. Okay, it will let me select multiple just by clicking on the lines. So just click on every line of the exterior portion of this wall. You don't have to hold any other buttons down. Just click on them. And I guess by default it does a multiple select. What I want to do with this exterior wall is put it on the exterior wall layer. So I'm going to go up to my layers, click on it, pull it down, and click on the exterior wall. Okay, so now it is red like I wanted it to be, and then the interior wall is green. And if I come down to the bottom of my toolbar or my status bar, I can click on this line that says show or hide line weight. If I click on that, now my exterior wall shows the line weight that I programmed it for. Okay. And you can choose to either work with those on or work with them off. It's up to you, but when you get ready to print, you definitely want to have them on. So that is how you do the exterior portion of your walls. I am going to pause here. That was 12 minutes, a little bit longer than I wanted to go, but I had to get that done. So stay tuned for the next one, which will be interior walls. And even though we've already got one interior wall attached to that exterior wall, we're going to create some interior walls inside the house. All right.